Hello and welcome to Fiona's Creative Canvas. I'm Fiona and today I am doing a large textured piece of flowers. My husband's drawn up this little sketch of something he'd like. So basically 3 flowers on this piece. The background will all be textured with a lightly rough texture, and then the petals and stems themselves will be textured as well. So there's a little bit of a challenge here, stepping outside the comfort zone a bit. But what I thought I might do is apply the texture, and I've got this brush that I left sitting out and didn't wash, so it's really got some stiff bristles. So I thought that could be good for actually creating this texture in the background. So I've got my joint compound out. I think I'm going to water this down a little bit, so I might grab a cup here and put some of the texture in there, and then add some water, just a little bit of water, and let's just mix that up. So it's still really thick, but just a little bit easier to work with, I think. That might actually be a good consistency when I do my petals. And you know what? I think I'm going to have a little practice. This is something I like to do because I'm going to be covering this whole canvas with the texture. I'm just going to practice doing some petals. How I might do it, I'm going to probably use a bigger one. Not sure. The other option I've got for doing petals is to pipe it and then blend. Not sure. Alright, let's get the texture on. Now I've had a bit of a play. I don't have to cover the whole thing, so if I run out, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go up and down, left and right for my background texture. I'll probably use this all up. Alright, so I've got a nice rough texture here, but I know that that's not exactly what I'm supposed to be going for. So I'm going to get this brush now, and let's try brushing through some. So I'd like a little bit of mix of both. That's cool. So you can see I've got a bit of the patchiness, but also some of these strokes. It's a bit hard to see how this is going to go. Some of it's rougher than other bits. Ooh, this is drying off a bit. We're getting lumps, which I don't want. Okay. All right. Let's have a look. Oh, that's cool. Going over it now that I've got the lines in, breaks them up a little bit. So just in places, just for smoothing off some of that roughness a little bit. Okay, we're going to leave this to dry. Okay, this is nice and dry now, and I'm going to get some sandpaper, and I just want to take off some of the lumps. Just in a few places. Just making a few adjustments here and there. Just get some of that dust off. I've grabbed some colours here. I've got titanium buff light, unbleached titanium, raw sienna, and turquoise blue, and they are going to be the colours for my background. I've got a couple of different, I've got a 4-inch and a 2-inch paddle brush, and I've grabbed out a sponge. I've got some water as well. I'm just going to spray down a bit. And I put a little bit of water on my brush, and I'm going to start with the unbleached. Not the unbleached, the titanium buff light. I wonder what the difference is. Ah, yeah, there is a bit of difference. I actually wonder if I might need a little bit of white as well. Alright, so that's the backdrop. And now what I need to do is get in some of these colours. I'm going to add a little bit of colour in. Probably want to save that actual brightness for the flowers, so I might get a bit of white and go over that, maybe some unbleached. Okay, so I've let that dry off a little bit. I'm not really liking it at the moment. What I'm thinking about doing is getting a soft blend and then putting bringing out the texture on top of that. So I'm going to use my small brush and just dip that in some water. And let's just see if I can get a bit of a blend happening. All right, now I am going to get some of this texture happening. I just like my corners to be a little bit darker. It sort of frames it. So let's try a bit of this first. not enough paint. So I'm just trying to get some on the sponge. Yeah. Okay, well I think this is working well. I'm going to go with a bit more of the green and work out where I want that. Let's add a bit more light colour. Okay, I'm just a little worried that it's a little dark, so I'm just going to add some of the titanium buff light. I'm going to apply it with a palette knife. Okay, so this is all nice and dry. I did add a little bit more light colours to it. I still might go a little bit lighter, but I'm going to draw on my flowers now, just to give me a rough idea of where I'm going to be putting my texture. So I've drawn on some flowers and some stems of where I'm roughly going to go, and I'm going to use joint compound in a piping bag to pipe just a bit of texture, because I don't want to end up with texture everywhere. Right, so I need to chop off my end. I want it reasonably thick because I've got an idea of how I might do this. A bit thicker. Let's try the stems first. Oh no! I've squeezed that out of the top, have I? Is there a hole in my bag? Where did that come from? I need to get that off with some water. Where did that come from? I think I've got a hole in my bag, so I might need some sticky tape. So I think I have a hole just here. So hopefully that will fix it. I'm going to use a bit of water and my finger, I think, now to blend some of this. Okay, this is nice and dry now. I only have one small crack, which I'm not going to worry about. But I just have a few lumps that I don't want. So I'm just using a bit of sandpaper just to flatten them off before I paint. Okay, I've grabbed my colour palette and I might actually start with my branches first. I'm going to use this raw umber mixed with some titanium buff light. Sort of turned a bit grey. Let's try a bit of the Van Dyke brown in there. Yeah, I like that colour. And that's sort of going to be my base colour. So let's use this brush here. I want to get my edges. So this will be multicolored. Okay, that's the base layer of my stems. Now I'm going to add a little bit more colour. Now I'm going to start on my petals. I'm just going to add a tiny bit of a darker colour, the indigo blue black. Let's start with the main colour. Now I do want to get the outside of this piece. I'm not sure I want to use this brush for it though, it might be a little bit too big. So I'm going to go back to this brush. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and make sure all my plaster is covered, because that's going to take a little while. So I'll just do a couple here so you can see what I'm doing, and then we'll get around to blending some colours in, something like that. So I'm going to go around, I'm going to use this colour, and then I will come back over and start doing some blending. Okay, so I've used the blue turquoise to paint the plaster. I haven't done the middle part, I'm not too worried about that. And now I'm going to use a mixture of paints and start painting my petals. I have smaller ones at the front, so I'm going to do the back ones first. Hopefully I can remember where I've got the smaller ones. And I'm going to go dark on the outside and lighter on the inside. So with another petal here, just grabbing a little bit of the dark colour and then getting a bit more of that sort of green towards the centre. Now on this one I added a little bit of the raw sienna mixed in with a bit of the green, just to bring a little bit of that colour into the flower as well. And at the moment I'm just doing the big petals, and then I'll come back in and do the other petals on top. Okay, so that's very bright. Now what I want to do is tone it down a bit with some lighter colour, a bit more like the background tone. So a bit of the light colour with some of the green blue, and then some of the other colour as well. Let's start with the greeny blue, the blue turquoise, and let's just see. Quite like that. Bring a little bit of that warm colour in. Okay, so it's coming along nicely. The last couple of things I have to do was like some outline in areas. So I can either use this acrylic marker or I can paint it on. I haven't tried either technique before, so I might just see how easy it is to. It's not bad. I guess the biggest thing I have about this is the colour. I'm just not sure about the colour. So I think I'm going to go with the brush like this. I'm basically going to be going around the outside, so it's like it's not right on it. It's more suggestive, I guess. I'm going to add quite a bit of water here to the palette, I think, because I need it to be flowing quite easily. Oh, I'm nervous about this part. Oh dear. Something like that. I'm just going to put some spots in the middle. I'll probably put another layer of this, of a lighter colour. And here is the final result. The flowers are quite bright, but they blend in really well with this texture. And you can see the texture on the flowers. And in the background, I like the fact that there's a green section in the background as well, sort of a blue-green. It turned out quite well. I'm quite happy with the overall result. I think it looks quite good on the wall. Bring a pop of colour to someone's home. So yeah, I really quite like this one. There was lots of steps to it, so I hope you enjoyed the process. And that's it for this one. I shall see you all in the next one. Bye.